Hi, this is Maha Yogi again. As you can see, I'm in my little studio here, and I have a lot of books. I've read all of them, so you don't have to. Yoga is about the body and how to get a better one, but it's also about the mind and how to enrich your mind. So, we're discussing some basic ideas here about yoga and how to see things the way yogis see things, how to see things with the particular vision of the yogi. Yoga practice is not a religion, it's a non sectarian way of viewing reality, but it is meant to be taken seriously. Yoga is not a joke, as sometimes seen in groups that practice naked yoga or laughing yoga. Western people like to mock the yoga practice, but this is not simply a way to see half-naked girls in their Lululemon leotards stretching their legs and showing off. We have said that beauty is the highest conception of the sweet absolute, but we're not talking about the beauty of the girls in the yoga class. We're talking about a higher conception of spirituality. So to reap the true benefits of yoga, this system should be carefully practiced by one whose mind is controlled. The ancients recommend that it should be done in a quiet and secluded place where one may easily control the mind and senses. Certain natural surroundings, such as the banks of rivers, a mountain top, the ocean side, a green space, may be particularly conducive to meditation, since these places have a calming effect on the mind. But this is not always possible. Sometimes we live in cities, there's cars, big buildings, traffic, noise, loud music. So it's not always possible to escape all the noise and distraction, but yoga is a way of providing us with an internal escape, or even better yet, a balanced way of seeing things. And so asanas and different yoga postures may contribute to bodily and mentally health, and this aids in spiritual realization, meditation on the sun, being mindful of one's place in the universe. But real meditation shouldn't end when we roll up the yoga mat. It shouldn't begin when we do our yoga exercises. The idea is to put yoga vision into practice by maintaining the inner balance that we've achieved through meditation during our entire day. Now, in order to reach that inner balance and practice yoga, it's nice to have a quiet place where we can enter a meditative state, undisturbed by relatives, friends, business, visitors. A secluded space is important, since the presence of all these things may distract the mind. But these standards are very difficult to achieve, so we have to try to create a mental space. The noise and trouble around us makes it difficult to practice yoga. That's why it's important to try to still the mind. And again, this is possible through proper vision. So it's not so much a question of setting aside a meditation room in your house or a place at your business where you can achieve quiet. It's more a question of cultivating a steady mind. The Bhagavad Gita points out that a lamp in a windless place does not waver, but we're always buffeted about by the winds of change. So we need to try to keep the mind steady. How is this possible? Well, we can keep the mind steady by adopting a spiritual point of view, by understanding the Atma within and the Atma without. Within all of us, there's a particle of spiritual eternity, if you will, spiritual consciousness. And we can come in contact with that by vibrating the sacred syllable Om, which is the universal sound. Even if you're saturated with all kinds of sound and distraction, you can hear the sound of Om in the background. So there's all different ways of meditation. Sometimes we're told to keep the eyes half open and half closed without focusing our vision on anything in particular, hold our glance towards the tip of the nose. The point is that one is alert, not asleep. In this way, one's mind becomes serene and free from materialistic agitation. We forget the impulses of sex, the need for getting money, the demands of power and politics. Instead of obsessing on the past or making plans for the future, we concentrate on existence itself in the form of the Atma. We find the spiritual flow that is moving within us and without us, discover the eternal, and try to meditate on the self, on divinity within and without. So we talked about yama and niyama, which means rules and regulations. At this point, we can talk about the idea of proper breath control, or pranayama. Pranayama has to do with the life force. Prana is the life force of the heart and the lung. And yama is regulation, as we have seen. So pranayama has to do with proper breathing. Oftentimes we become so wrapped up in the pressures of life that we forget to breathe properly. And this is the cause of many diseases and infirmities. As we go about our business, we breathe involuntarily without even thinking about it. But sometimes it's a good practice to pay attention to how we're breathing. Now, certain exercises may be given by your teacher, but pranayama means to regulate the breath properly, to attain a perfect balance. So this means that the breathing should be kept regular and smooth. There's a vital connection between the life air and the mind's true harmony. You could try a little exercise. I like to show this to my students. You can check with your guru to see if this is something that he wants you to do, but you can take your hands like this and feel the energy between your hands, and then make a little energy ball, and then expand the ball. Feel the movement. You can feel the electricity flowing between your hands. Now breathe in and breathe out. It's as simple as that. Try it again. One more time. Don't you feel better? So there's a vital connection between the life air and the mind's true harmony. In the old days, people thought that the mind was in the heart, in here, because so much of our feeling comes from the heart chakra. Now we like to think that the mind is up here. But in any case, there's a connection between breath and the harmony of the mind. Breath and life air flow from the heart. There's a relation then between an uncontrolled breath and an agitated heart, between improper breathing and heart disease. Proper breathing and a peaceful heart go hand in hand. So when one derives maximum energy through breathing, it becomes easier to turn off worries, to calm the mind, and center the mind on our inner consciousness and beyond to the higher self. By holding oneself in harmony, one comes to the realization that the soul is eternal. And in this way, one enters meditation proper. There we begin to experience the inner light of the soul while developing an awareness, consciousness of the Supreme Soul, Paramatma, who exists within and without. So by maintaining proper balance or harmony between the life breath and the heart, the mind and the higher sense, a practitioner of yoga begins to achieve serenity. Now, we've discussed yama and niyama, or proper balance in one's life path by following a certain kind of discipline. We talked about maintaining the postures by asana, and also pranayama, or proper breathing. In our next talk, we'll finish discussing the Eightfold Path of Yoga. Thanks for tuning in. This is Maha Yogi. Peace.